This narrative, I think Colin articulates well, but I want to push back on this.
I've been right about the lack of sustainability of the brand, the way it's operating in terms of Xbox. And I've said it for years that Game Pass simply doesn't make sense.
I was listening to Colin and the boys. It was Colin's show covering this. Some of them seem to be under the impression that Phil Spencer might even be kind of ushered out, implying that one of the scenarios could be the day one drops of Game Pass days are over, going multi-platform and all this stuff is not what Phil wants. And he's like, why would I even still be here? So whether they push him out or not, that'll be an interesting, I don't think that's happening, but that they were speculating. But it is interesting, and this is what Gaz from Septic Sauce and Game On Daily tweeted today. He was talking about some of the branding has changed. This used to say, play it on Game Pass day one. That's been removed. Now it says Game Pass Fable. That's all it says. I don't know. You don't really remove that. So that's unusual. And I will tell you personally, if they remove that feature from Game Pass, then you will no longer see me. I'll still be a fan to some extent, depending on what the service becomes. But if it becomes PS Plus, which is mostly games that have already come out and sold, totally fine, but don't ask me to pay for it. That's not why I like it. I recommend the listen. I want to play you this clip that Last Stand Media put up. Colin says something here that I do want to take issue with, because Colin's not the only person saying it. I'm seeing a number of people saying this as they prepare to write the obituary on Game Pass. And I just want to be clear on something, because this narrative, I think Colin articulates well, but I want to push back on this. Listen to what Colin says.
I've been right about the lack of sustainability of the brand, the way it's operating in terms of Xbox. And I've said it for years that Game Pass simply doesn't make sense. And the one thing that's certain is that any sort of change away from their strategy means that it's not working. And I don't want to hear any more talk about it. Like, I don't care what they say about its quote unquote profitability when they're never asked how they arrive at that number. It's easy to get around your fiduciary obligations when you throw things out and you don't give anyone insight into actual data.
Let me be clear on this. This is the problem with writing the obituary on Game Pass, which may happen, and maybe it should happen. But my love of the service, and more importantly, my championing of the vision of the service, where it is supposed to be going, is based on what hasn't really happened yet. Not in terms of what I love now, because I've loved it. But we have yet to see, and I'm not one of these, like, just give them more time. No, they've had plenty of time. I made a video 3 years ago about the shit management at product development at Xbox. I'm not like one of these, this is the year, right? They've had plenty of fucking time to get their shit together. It does seem like if they're going to really do anything, it's going to be this year, because they do supposedly have Call of Duty, Indiana Jones, Fable, Avowed, all of this stuff coming day one on Game Pass. And if this is the year the rug gets pulled out from under them, that would suck. But my point, though, is that until you have the vision that was promised, which is a cadence of quality games coming every 1 to 2 months, and then you've got the smaller games filling in those gaps, you can't really say Game Pass doesn't work as an idea. Game Pass certainly doesn't work as an idea if you aren't able to deliver. I just want to make that clear, because I think a lot of people just act like, see, the vision doesn't work. And I'm like, the vision hasn't been executed at all. I don't think Game Pass is going away, says Brett. They're just going to sell the games for $70 on everything and offer it free on day one still. Look, that's what I think. Not only I hope they do, but I think they should do. I think that's smart. I think that will actually help Game Pass. But if it turns out that, and again, everybody's just shooting rumors. Nobody fucking knows. But if it does turn out that Game Pass is no longer doing these big game day one drops, then they've lost their secret sauce. I might subscribe if they're able to consistently still bring day one indie games, but short of that, no. Why would I subscribe to this fucking thing? So I am very interested, excited, curious about what they are going to talk about come Monday. Wayne B. Well, see, this is interesting. Wayne B. says games are fine. It's the budget that needs to go way down. Hey, I agree. That's one of the reasons I'm championing. I haven't decided if I like it or not, but that's one of the reasons I'm giving Helldivers a chance, because I love that Sony decided to say we're going to make something commercial, but decently, responsibly budgeted. And it's not full of a bunch of fucking cutscenes. It's really about the game. I'm with you 100%. And if you play Helldivers, you will see it is pretty fucking janky. Not in terms of the moment-to-moment gameplay, but like all the surrounding stuff. When you start on the ship and the NPCs are talking to you, they look like I've never seen first party be willing to put something out like that. It's very Bush League, but you know what? I don't care. I'm glad they did it because they can rip the Band-Aid off. No one cares. The only people who care are fanboys who want to have another quiver in their arrow to fire at whoever they're fighting in their imaginary little fantasies. But no one cares about that. They'd rather have an extra level, or they'd rather have a new monster to fight. And I'd rather the development costs go to that than making sure that when the AI finishes speaking, there's not a little tiny jitter in animation when it jump cuts back to its idle pose, which is what the NPCs and Helldivers do.